I believe I've been sitting in parks like an animal. Right. Half Cut film reviews for August. Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw. Did you see it? I did. One sentence summary. The Rock and Jason Statham proved that when saving the world, two bald heads are better than one. Could you beat the villain? Idris Elba has been turned into some sort of cyborg man with enhanced strength, durability, and the ability to predict to fight almost as good as Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes. But I can take him. So he's got all those robot parts, and I'm sure they're waterproof, but they'll probably add some weight to him. And he's also walking around in like a leather-looking body armour type thing that doesn't look like it was designed for swimming. Basically what I'm saying is I'd push him in some deep water and see how he got on. If he did swim, I'd exploit the same weakness that they come to the shocking conclusion of at the climax of the film. He can't defend himself if he can't see you coming. Just smash him in the back of the head. God damn. How would you improve the film? It was an action comedy blockbuster. It was pretty good. You can definitely feel the Fast and Furious in it, thanks to the focus on fast cars, family, and obligatory shots of Lady Bum. But it could have been better. For a film that has the word brother in it about 100 times, there's absolutely no mention at all of Jason Statham's character's brother, who definitely exists because he's in 2 of the Fast and Furious films. So the Rock's little girl is talking about Jason Statham's sister Hattie, who's a sexy lady spy person, and the little girl's all like, sometimes when people fancy each other, they flirt by annoying each other. That sounds an awful lot like the relationship that The Rock and Jason Statham have in this film. I'm just saying. Also, The Rock and Jason Statham, they were mates at the end of the last Fast and Furious film they were in. There you go. This is something that's just popped into my head because I saw Hobbs on the screen. But at the end of the film, there's several close-ups on Hobbs Customs, company name, and I can only assume that they've released that as a real thing and they were advertising their own product in the film. Anyway, right. Idris is a cyborg, as mentioned, and he survives a drop off a building, a smokestack falling on him, and a fall off a cliff in a helicopter. The Rock is not a cyborg, as far as I'm aware. But he survives the same drop off the building. He was actually on top of Idris. Yeah. The same smokestack falling on him. He was on the same van, and the rubble may not have hit him, but still there. And the same fall off a cliff. He was on the back of a truck, not on a helicopter. Same fall. Basically what I'm saying is, I don't know if Idris Elba actually was a cyborg. I think maybe he's been told he's a cyborg, but I don't know if he is. If he is, though, I have another theory that would explain why The Rock survives almost exactly the same brutal punishments. I think this is part of the DCEU. Stay with me. So, The Rock displays superhuman strength in these films. In the one where he and Jason Statham go to prison for a bit, he pings his way out of some handcuffs, which is exactly what Henry Cavill does in Man of Steel. Bicep curls a helicopter in this, like Captain America did in Civil War. So I'm kind of thinking that The Rock is already playing Black Adam, and he had got a cameo in Shazam, sort of, because he's got magical superpowers, but he might have amnesia. That's why he doesn't know he can just fly and stuff. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Both The Rock and Jason Statham get knocked out by some regular goons in this film, and then take far worse beatings. I thought that was weird. But there's also The Rock's character's brother. The Rock's brother's character punches him in the face, and The Rock goes down, he falls down some stairs. And just like, physics, that's not going to happen, because that dude did not exert enough force to move that much mass. they went out of their way to make sure people weren't getting shot in these films. At the beginning, they were using electric bullets. Then they were like, oh, we can't shoot anyone in this corridor because we need them alive to use the retinal scanner. And then, what was it? Oh yeah, they used like the magic guns from Spectre, but in gloves. So not anyone can just fire them. And then they switch all the guns off for a bit as well. So that was odd. That's not how flamethrowers work. They don't push you back, they just set you on fire. That's not how parachutes work. If they stop you instantly, that's like the same as you hitting the ground. And I think that scene was supposed to be in Chernobyl. Bit odd. I don't like that Idris Elba's bike looked like a transformer, acted like a transformer, and I'm pretty sure it had the same sound effect, or at least a very similar sound effect to a transformer. There you go. And also in his introduction, he calls himself the bad guy, like in the trailer. But like he clearly believes he's trying to do a bad thing, but to save the world. So he clearly sees himself as the hero. So it would have made more sense for him to go, I'm the good guy. And then he murders everyone. So, you know, actually, he's not the good guy. Oh, yeah. I'm sure the Rock's brother, who, as previously mentioned, has got magical punching abilities. I'm sure he's a fantastic mechanic, but he's not a 2 times Nobel Prize winning scientist. So I don't know if he'd be able to fix that magical device that they needed him to fix. But you know who might have been able to do that? Ludacris from the previous Fast and Furious movies. He's been shown to do computing. Ramsey from the previous Fast and Furious movies, who's been shown to do some computing and invented that God's Eye thing that can track anyone in the world, apart from when the plot needs him to, a la this film. Or like the CIA, who from the previous Fast and Furious movies, and also this movie. Jason Statham, The Rock, and Jason Statham's sister go to the CIA, and like, obviously there's got to be at least one witness who survived that attack. They can back up our story that we didn't do this, some dudes attacked us, and then the CIA will be like, yeah, we don't actually know where that press release came from, blaming you for the attack, so like, crack on with saving the world if you could please. And then they could have, you know, built the machine and saved the day. In 2016, I wrote a story called Old Porters Burning Eden. Not available for sale, no one wanted it. And the plot of that was a group of terroristy type people were going to save the world by killing, you know, the weak. That happens to be the plot of this film. Fair enough. You know, that happens in kind of Kingsman and various other different things. But there's a disembodied voice that gives order to the kind of superpowered henchman, and the main character doesn't actually meet the disembodied voice. They do meet the henchman, and that also happens in my book, so that kind of pissed me off. The good news is that means I've got a very good idea of how this could have been better, because I've thought about it for my own story, and I was going to rewrite that, never got around to it, but I'll just do it on this one. So they steal a virus. The virus is going to kill off the weak, leave the strong, human race is saved, overpopulation, blah 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 blah. Limited resources, not an issue. They didn't actually mention the overpopulation or limited resources, by the way, in the film. But obviously, the heroes, they live on the world. They don't want the world to die, but they should have made it personal. So the virus should have been, because they keep saying they can reprogram it, but they don't tell it what they're going to do. Should have been that it's going to target people with chronic illness or genetic weaknesses, blah 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 blah. So The Rock's little girl should have been diabetic, and Jason Statham's mum, Helen Mirren, should have been in hospital with a chronic condition, not in jail. That way, the virus is like, oh no, it's going to kill everyone, and The Rock's like, we've got to save my little girl. I know it doesn't sound like that. And then you've got personal stakes, and also they're saving the world. I know Jason Statham's sister was going to die anyway, but like, double the personal stakes. Rating out of 5 beers, 3. I think it directed by the guy who directed Deadpool 2, if I'm not mistaken. And I think Ryan Reynolds went to Ryan Reynolds in such a short space of time. He was just like an explosion of Ryan Reynolds in your face. So tone that down a bit. Also filmed at Greenwich, pretty nice. Did like how they were setting up the sequel. Like, hey, you're on my radar now. No, you're on my radar. Voice. Yeah, so that was that. This was a long one.